don't have to think much. Okay, so these are great workouts to do after a hard bike ride, maybe through periods of high stress, not just physical stress, but also mental and emotional stress as well. So launch workouts are always very, very accessible to you guys. And they should never go away, because if you're training hard, that means that you're going to be under stress. So when you feel that and you can tick that box, then go ahead and just choose a launch workout. Okay, so here we are. We're going to go into a half kneeling position. What we've got for this workout is a foam roller. Remember, we've got 3 categories of dumbbells or kettlebells. You can have either one. 1, 2, and 3. Number 1 is your lightest one. Number 2 is your moderate. And number 3 is your heavy. We're not doing anything heavy today. We've also got 2 full water bottles, which provide us just really nice, easy, light weights as well. Okay? So first thing we're going to do is just start to set ourselves up for success by opening up the front side of the body. We're going to go through the half kneeling hip opener series. And we're going to go through that series, and then we're going to do a little bit of movement, and then we're going to come back to the series again, do a little bit of movement, then just move on to a little bit of stability work. So come with me here. The goal of this movement, hands on hips, and we're just going to drive the hip forward. We want to open up that anterior hip capsule. We're going to upregulate the nervous system by moving with a little bit of speed. You don't have to rush through this, just kind of match my tempo. Holding really strong posture. Just creating a little bit of heat through that front side of the hip. I'm giving you this side angle so you can kind of start seeing the line of my back. If you're a runner, this is going to set you up for a nice hip extension when you're running through hip decoupling. Hands through your hips. Good. Next one I'm going to do straight on with you so you can see this one. This is half kneeling hip opener, number 3. Number 3 is overhead. So we're just going to reach forward. I'm actually going to give you a side view on that one. Reach forward, reach up, start to lift through your rib cage. Create space through your belly. Couple more. And I'm going to apologize in advance if I'm off by 1 or 2 on the count, but I try to keep them pretty balanced. So we're going for 8 reps here. If you have a trainer at home, you probably know none of us can count. And I'm not reaching back. I'm reaching up. I want to create as much space as I can between my ribs and my hips. 1 more. Good. So that's half kneeling hip opener number 3 because of the overhead position. This is number 2 with rotation. So it's number 2 because I'm at chest height with the arms. We're just going to drive forward with the hips, same hip drive, but just giving you some variety with the upper body so we can start really mobilizing thoracic spine in conjunction with ankles and hips. Good. Let's hit that other side. This stuff is great to do when you get off of airplanes or out of cars. I live in Boulder, Colorado, so lots of people that I work with go skiing, and they always feel like crap when they get out of the car. So we're just going to do a little bit of lateral gliding. So we're mobilizing everything before we start adding any external load. So what I want you to do here is get a nice wide stance, 2 times shoulder width, parallel the outside of your feet. So what that means is, right on the outside lines of my feet, I want them to be parallel, which is going to almost put me into internal rotation down at my feet, which is okay because gravity and ground are constantly trying to pull us into external rotation. So if you're a runner or a hiker, or even to an extent a cyclist, you're going to have tight hips. It's just what happens. So right here, we're going to go nice and wide, 2 times shoulder width, turn the toes in, and we're just going to go ahead and just glide laterally. And we're looking to get a gentle stretch in the adductors. And again, we're just moving with a little bit of rhythm and timing, just a nice gentle pace. Now from right here, I'm gonna be able to drive my hips back, and don't want you to do this with me. Bring your hands to the front as a counterbalance, which is gonna let you drive your hips even further to the back. Hip hinging, massively important in everything we do. Hip hinge. It's gonna protect your back and just give you full access to the power of your glutes, side to side laterally. Good. Now we're gonna take that into what I call a transverse step. So right here, the hips are open and then the hips are closed. Foot position kind of dictates hips. So we're gonna open the hips, close the hips. 3, 4, and you're gonna load to the back. 5, 6, we're gonna go 8 reps. 7, 8. All right, let's hit the other side. Transverse step. 4, 5, 6, 7, and you can see this is probably the most important thing. Your lead foot stays straight, okay? All right, let's go back to that half kneeling position. I usually like to have a little pad under my knee. We're gonna do all of those hip openers again, but I'm gonna make slight changes, okay? So we're gonna start with half kneeling hip opener number 3. We're gonna go ahead and use this foam roller as a prop overhead, okay? So if you have a wide foam roller, you'll just grab wider, it's no big deal. Ready? We're gonna go 8 reps. 4. Long through the lats. 5, 6, 7, 8. Same thing other side. This hip extension should start feeling better now. 2, 3. 8. Good. Coming face on. We're going to go right into half kneeling hip opener number 2. Foam roller at chest height. Little bit of rotation. Don't let that lead knee flare out to the side. Keep it straight down the middle. Nice and stable. Nice straight line. 8. Good. Give you a quick demo on this other side. What we don't want to have happen. Right here, when I rotate here, if I'm tight and I'm acting as one piece, that knee's going to want to drift. Fight it. We call this anchoring. I want you to anchor in with your right leg. In, just like that. Stable on the bottom. 3, 4. Long through your arms. 5, 6, 8, 9. Oh, that's extra. Okay, switch to the other side. This is half kneeling hip opener number 5. Number 5 takes that foot from straight in front, takes it a little bit out to the side, basically at 45 degrees. So if this is midnight, that's 3 o'clock. Don't take it all the way to 3 o'clock. It's 1:30 or 11:30, okay? Right here, nice and strong, and you're gonna feel that little stretch in that adductor. So let's just be gentle with that. We'll get 4, 2, 3, and 4. Now, take the foam roller. We're gonna rotate away and just start to see how the ribs and the hips can separate. The harder you train, guys, the more relevant this simple stuff becomes. We're setting you up so that your hiking, your triathlon gets easier. So this is great. But these are movements, not exercises, if that makes sense. These are movements that set you up for success while you exercise, while you train, okay? This is part of the training, but that's not what we're after. We're not after the perfect half kneeling hip opener number 5. Doesn't matter, okay? So let's go 4, nice and easy. Opening up that adductor complex. 3, you're gonna hear me talk about adductors and lats all the time. 1 more. We add that cattywampus little move there. Find that end range that feels good to you. Don't force anything. Muscles and fascia will respond in time. It's not something we can rush. Let's go 2 more of these. All right, good. Okay, so let's take the foam roller and again, use it as a prop as for a split squat, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do, set up a split squat. This would be a very comfortable length. I want you to go just a little bit longer than comfortable. And the first thing we're gonna do is just go ahead and put hands on hips, drop that back knee all the way to the ground, maintain really good posture, and then just stand straight up. Now, if that's hurting your knees, just go to your comfort zone or comfort level. 7, 8. Everything we do, here's the advantage of being at home doing this with me or in a hotel or wherever the heck you are, is nobody's watching. Fall into the bubble that works well for you, okay? Nice split stance, great posture, drop down. I'm not really sure how many we did on the other side. My goal is 10, 8, 9, and 10. Now, let's go ahead and take the foam roller, work in that same pattern of a split squat, but let's hold this in position 3, okay? So set up the split squat, not too long, that would be really long. Come into comfortable long. Hands overhead, big breath, drop straight down. Eight, hold your upper body nice and strong. 10, good. Now from the angle that I'm at, you really can't see my feet, but I want to make sure that both of your feet are straight. This is a tight hip. That's not a tight hip, okay? So the big toe tucks under on the back foot, all right? Split squat, nice big rib cage, reach overhead, drop all the way to the ground. We got 10 here. Eight, 9, 10. Okay, one more big part of the warm-up is going to be that wide stance, going back to lateral gliding. Okay, so just join me here. Easy peasy. Lateral gliding. Okay, so now we're going to add a little bit of rotation. We're going to rotate in the direction that we're going. So if we go to the right, we're going to rotate to the right, then come back and glide back to the middle. Now, here's where we're going to see that anchoring move again. So as we go to the right and we rotate across, this knee is going to want to go out. Keep it in. That's going to be a massive theme for us, day after day, year after year. Your ability to rotate up here and anchor down there, okay? You're going to start speaking the same language. All right, so we're only going to the right to the glide. Feet are turned in ever so slightly. parallel the outside of your feet. We're gonna glide right, rotate right. We get 10 of these, this is 8. And good, let's shake that out. We're gonna glide left and rotate left. Okay, so here we go. Set it up nice and wide, toes turn in, foam roller to the front, glide left, rotate left. Six. Now we're starting to really groove into that. 7. We don't just separate those movements. 8. 9. And 10. All right, it's an excellent warm-up for some of you that probably felt like part of the workout. I call it the warm-up. It's definitely part of the workout. All right, let's go ahead and foam roll through the lower leg. This is a series, very basic. I call this reactive foam rolling, which is just helping repair and unleash what you did previous days. So the back side of the body takes a little bit of a beating when we walk, train, hike, and we need to make sure that before we load it, and we're doing body weight so far, body weight and foam roller. Going back to the right side, this time we're gonna add the weight of the left leg, and we're right below the calf muscle here, right below it. That's where the decisions are made about muscle length and muscle tension. Is all at the junction of the muscle. It doesn't get decided in the belly of the muscle. It might hurt in the middle of the muscle. That's not where the brain decides whether or not to give you more access. So let's get the same thing on the other side, right at the bottom of the calf. I'm a little spicy there. I had a good run yesterday up in the mountains. So uphill running, gonna damage even more. Downhill running, forget about it, even worse. Just work through those lower legs. Okay, so that's gonna give my feet a much better chance to have success being stable and being able to do its job. Okay, so now let's go onto the hips. And when we open the hip by taking the right foot onto the left knee, the harder that is, the more you know your lateral hip is tight. And I did a little bit of stretching when I got up this morning, so that actually went easier than I thought it would. You wanna go nice and easy, use your hand to unload the weight of the body a little bit. And we're just gonna use a little bit of gentle pressure. You guys, if this is highly painful, this isn't productive. And you need to unload the body a little bit more. You might even just take the foam roller out and just use the floor. When it's painful, that's called a pain response. That's the brain saying, please don't do that. And you have to listen to that. If you don't listen to that, what ends up happening is the muscle actually guards. It turns on even more because it hurts. And when it hurts, it guards. So I'm just in that comfortable kind of achy, I'm almost recovered hip pain. Okay, good. So on a scale of 1 to 10, to me, 7, 8, 9, 10 means maybe get onto the floor and check it out. You can actually use the floor. I mean, people who sell foam rollers would prefer you not figure this out, but it's true. You can actually use the floor as foam roller. And it's just a little bit easier on that tissue. So you would do the same thing. Go right leg over left. All right, let's work here into upper back. So we want to position the foam roller right below the shoulder blades. I want you to support your head and just see how much you can extend your spine. Now, I do this all the time, so I have a lot of good flexibility in my thoracic spine. If you don't do this or you're new to this, just take what your body will give you today and it will get better, I promise. And I'm just moving 1 inch and then extending 1 inch, and it's moving me through the vertebra in my upper back. Good. Okay, so let's check in on the lats, and we're just gonna go thumb up. So the position of the shoulder is, if the thumb was down, we'd be in internal rotation. If the thumb was all the way open, we'd be in lots of external rotation. Let's just hit the middle. So thumb is up, and anytime we go after that lat, we're usually gonna do that with the thumb up. And that's a little spicy for me too, and I didn't even swim. Okay, let's hit the other side. Foam roll through the upper back. Okay, good stuff. All right, so you can see you don't just spend hours on the foam roller. It's totally worth your time. Through many of the workouts that we're gonna do, you're actually going to be able to foam roll for 8 to 10 minutes at the beginning of the session. We put that in the middle after we did some movement. Okay, so what I've got here is kettlebell or dumbbell number 1. This is my lightest dumbbell, okay? Lightest dumbbell. And all we're gonna go through, they're gonna stay in position 1, which is down here. Just for knowledge, this is gonna be position 2, and then I'm gonna go down on one knee just so you can make sure you all see it. That's position 3. We're not gonna get into position 3 in this workout, okay? So we're gonna go position 1, we're gonna go into a split squat. We've added external load, the body's warmed up. We're just gonna go 10 reps here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Flip the other way. Hopefully your cardio feels good. Heart rate's not too high. Split stance. Here we go for 10. Right leg up front. Eight, 9, 10. Okay, let's go on to right knee down. We're just going to go double arm overhead press from this position. This position just gives you less variables to stabilize. Ready? Double arm. 10 reps. Seven, 8, 9, 10. Standing up tall. Go back to that split stance. Left leg is in front. From right here, we're going to do a tip at the hip. And I'm going to set the weights down really quick because you can see this lead leg is straight. It's not locked. It's soft through the knee, and then I'm just gonna come straight back out of that. Straight down, flat back, straight back up. This is only going to my knee. Anything further than my knee, I usually will get from the flexion of my spine. I don't want that, okay? As your strength coach, I don't want you to flex your spine right now. Okay, so the third thing we're gonna do is be a split stance Romanian deadlift. So nice big breath, drop straight down on it, come straight back up. 2, we got 10 of these. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pivot the other direction. Right leg is in front. Take a big breath. Create space between your ribs and your hips. Looking over the cliff. Just a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're just going to the knee. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Okay, last time we were down on the right knee. This time let's go down on the left knee. Double arm overhead press. Second set here is the last set. Ready? 10. And 10. All right, good. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is introduce a little bit of the foundation training. Foundation training is a way of using our own body weight to do 3 specific things. We're going to expand the rib cage. You can see how that makes me stand. Makes me big, right? We want to expand the rib cage 360 degrees. We want to elevate the front of the ribs. We want to elevate and widen out the back of the ribs. And we want to breathe into the length that the lats will give us. So when we do that, we're going to take 3 fingers, tuck them under, and put the pinkies on your hip bones, thumb on your bottom rib. Let your elbows float to the side. From right here, fill the rib cage 360 degrees. 2 more big breaths. And 1 more. 3. Now, with foundation training, with decompression breathing, we're going to go ahead and square up the outside of the feet. And I've got a mat here that has stripes on it. So I can actually use that. I want to go shoulder width today with you guys. And let's just square up the outsides of the feet like we did with that big lateral gliding. That's going to take our knees in just a little bit. That's going to set the hips inward, which is going to give us more stability in our performance training stuff that we do. So we want to bring those hips in. That's a big part of our training. From right here, with that same hip position, with measuring sticks, we're going to just drop your hips to the back just a little bit and float your hands to your heart. Keeping your shoulders nice and low. And I just want you to get into this very gentle founder position. Fill your lungs. Let's breathe in through our nose, out through the mouth. Come back into long wing. Bring your hips back just a little bit. From there, let's take that feet about 1.5 times shoulder width. I just feel like I really want to show you guys how far back the hips want to go. Okay, so I've got my feet in the squared off position. Create space, float your elbows to the side. Chin back, chest up. And we're just going to drop the hips to the back and come into a long wing position. From this position, the cueing here will be to reach through the ends of your fingers. Pull your shoulders away from your ears. You're going to scoop from the bottom. And as your hands come to the front as a counterbalance, your hips drive way to the back. Your hands form a sphere by putting all the fingertips touching. Keeping your shoulders low. From here, I want to see if you can create even more space between your fingertips and your hips. Extend forward. You should start to feel your toes want to come off the ground, but I want you to keep them on the ground. Push through. From here, guys, stay in it. Give me 2 huge breaths. Keep reaching your fingertips away from your hips. 1, 2, raise your hands up 1 inch. That might light up your low back. 1 more big breath. Back to long wing, hips come back underneath of you. We're gonna do that 1 more time. We've got 5 big breaths. I'm gonna keep cueing subtle actions from you, okay? This is a founder, we're working into a founder. Ready? Nice big breath, measuring sticks. Fill the lungs, float the elbows to the side, breathe into the side of the body. Drop the hips to the back, come into long wing. Pull your fingers and your shoulders away from your ears. Scoop your hands to the front at heart height. Drive your hips to the back far enough that your toes think they want to come off the ground, but they don't. You leave them connected to the planet. And as a matter of fact, I want you to grab the ground with your toes and create tension in the lower body. Create more space by reaching your fingertips away from your hips. Elevate your hands 1 inch. From this position, you should be shaking a little bit. Give me 3 big breaths. Create space, don't lose it. 1 more. And come out of that. All right, good job. Okay, so we just kind of lit up those hamstrings a little bit, but we want to wake them up. So many people feel like they're overworking their hamstrings, and they are. And the reason they are is because the entire posterior chain isn't working as a team. We need it to work as a team, okay? So let's turn the toes out a little bit. Get your feet about 1.5 times shoulder width. From here, you're just gonna squat and see if you can get into this frog position. And then just come straight back, okay? So these are called gravity squats because I'm just letting gravity pull me down and come back up. By externally rotating the toes, we're actually opening up the hips a little bit. We're doing the opposite of what we're trying to strengthen. But in order to get into this hip position, we have to sometimes open the hips up. So 10 fingers to the ground is a measuring stick. It'll tell us that over time, over years, over decades, we never want to lose this, okay? So let's go ahead and go 10 gravity squats. If you need to, you can go a little wider. Toes turned out just a little bit. Big breath. You can see, you can still read my shirt. So I'm not here. My hips are down at my knee height. Come right back up. I don't need you to ever put a bar on your back and do this exercise, but I need you to be able to do this with your own body weight. 4, 10 fingers to the ground. 5, and I gotta tell you, before I started doing foundation training, I couldn't do this. So trust me, if you're struggling with it today, just keep showing up, and I promise you, your body is going to work better for you. Let's go 1 more. Good. Shake that out. Okay, so from there, we're going to use that gravity squat, and we're going to do a walkout. So I'm going to use my mat sideways. I'm going wide enough that my toes, my heels are on the mat, my toes are off the mat, and they're turned a little bit externally rotated, right? And what we're going to do here, watch the first one. Gravity squat, walk my hands out into high plank, soft knees. So I finish low, stand back up, okay? Everybody's is going to look a little different. Gravity squat into high plank. Here we go. Down to 10 fingers on the ground. Walk the hands into high plank. Hold strong, stable. Walk the hands, but see how low my knees are to the ground. Come back up. I'm going to show you what I don't want. Don't do this. See how my knees never bend? It's cool, but it's not what we're doing. Okay, squat, walk out. Let's go 4 more of these. High plank. There we go. Okay, 1 more little round. We're gonna grab the foam roll, the water bottles. So I actually weighed these. If you fill these up with water, they weigh just under 2 pounds. So they're light. This is a 12-ounce water bottle. We're gonna go into a split stance. We've been in this RDL position, Romanian deadlift. We've got a nice flat back. And all we're gonna do is open the chest up, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and we're gonna go 10 on each leg. 4, so we'll end up with 20 total. 5, nice controlled weight. 6, head is in a nice position, pull your chin back. 8, 9, 10. Switch to the other side. Nice big breath. Tip at the hip. Flat back. 10 reps. Good. Super stable. All right. That's the end of the session today, guys. So that is an ECFIT launch workout. Lots of double arm loading, lots of very stable positions, a little bit of foundation training, and hopefully you don't feel too trashed and you can continue to recover, get stronger, and just keep getting better.